Good mythical morning, everyone. It's the V. It's the V. It's the notorious, glorious V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with myself because my main man Kuko has some family stuff today he's got to take care of. Actually, he's facing a tough time, and his family is a family member of his passed away. So I pray that all of you send your prayers out to CJ and his family during this tough time. We pray the power and grace of God be upon him and his family and those that are mourning. So again, just keep CJ and his family in your prayers, folks, and that's it. I'll he'll fill in the rest when he comes back on. With that also being said, folks, check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com. Whether you need doggy treats, oh so good yumminesses from everything from chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes to almond coconut truffles, whatever you need, or even some coffee, go over to mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com, and get it done for you. Also, guys, check out remaincalm.net, remaincalm.net. Whether you need funding, whether you need some protection, whether you need some asset protection, whatever the heck it is, or you need some consultation. Yeah, it's still for a limited time available, folks. There is some consultation. You can go one-on-one with a great one. It is available right now for a limited time over at remaincalm.net. You can go one-on-one with a great one. So check it out. You want to learn the tricks of the trade. You want to know how I do things. Go there. It's your opportunity to talk to me. So take advantage of it. Many people have, and they are greatly enriched by it. Also, guys, the Watchers Trade Room still running that special 7 for 7. 7 for 7. Check out WT.live or watcherstrade.io. Either URL will get you to the same website. Watcherstrade.io. Yeah, 7 for 7. $7 for 7 days of awesome trades. Check it out. On and on and on. Rock on to the break of dawn, my friend. Bitcoin is rising. It is the time to get involved in cryptos, folks. It is the time to get involved with cryptos. Look, here's the thing, now, folks, I would love to go back to, if I could go back in time, right? If I can go back in time right now, I'd go back to 2016, okay? I would go back to 2016 and trade when the crypto market was just dead low. You remember 2016? I'm talking about when Bitcoin was at 500, 600 bucks, okay? When we were still back in the truck up, when people were still wondering if the death of Bitcoin, you probably heard about 10 million times during 2016. I would go there. And there were a lot of dumps. There was a crap load of mini bear markets. Go from 500, 200, 150, then back to 600. And we're like wondering, does this thing have legs? Oh, contraire, mon frere, does it have legs or what? Now, who would go back in time and start trading regularly in 2006 or 2017 to catch up on the beginning of a major bull market, right? Even, folks, if it cost me a little money at first, I would have given an arm and a leg, a kidney and a spleen to go back and spend some money learning to trade before the big bull run began. Because you know what? I would know that I'd be getting into the market during the bull run. I would be getting in before the bull run even happened. I would know it. And let me tell you guys something. Look, somebody who's been closing BTC deals in the OTC world, somebody who works with institutions, that is me. I'm telling you right now, today, 2018 and 2019, this is the new bull market. This is 2016 all over again. Trading in the bull market is hard because there are some losses that take chunks out of your book. Now, however, I believe that we'll see a big run. There's a big run coming, and I'm sorry, trading a bear market is hard, right? And we've been lively during the worst market in the world. Z and Cowboy have returned documented 2,600%. Documented returns 2,600%. Documented. I don't give a rat's rear end what anybody thinks. Documentation beats conversation, so you can take your opinion and you can stick it. Documentation, folks, always beats conversation. It's just the way it is. Now, if this were 2015 and 16 and you can see the future, would you take that opportunity to learn? Would you take the opportunity to watch real pro guys who know what they're doing make money in a bear market and be absolutely optimally positioned for the next bull run? Would you do that? Huh? I would do that. I would do that for years if I knew a bull market was coming. Right? Now this is you. It's your chance, folks. Join Watchers Trade. Join. Because if you think these guys killed it in the bear market, which they did, documented. I gotta keep hammering that word, folks. Documented. 2,600%. Imagine what they could do in the bull market. Watch and be optimally positioned for the next run and become millionaires this year. Do you understand the options that's being presented to you? Become a millionaire, right? That's basically what it is. You have a chance to radically change your life. Of all the tools, like we have a lot of protectionist tools that we offer through this program, right? But of all the tools in the Rogue arsenal, the one that can enrich you the most, the one that could radically change your life if you got the balls to do it, and you got the commitment and the discipline to make it happen, and you have the ravenous mind to learn, is the Watchers Trade Room. You're talking to two traders who are right now accumulated practically 7 figures worth of wealth in the crypto market. Come on now. Come on now. You want to talk about it? You want to make it happen for yourself, folks? I cannot offer you no greater gift than this. A free money machine. Make it happen for yourself. Make it happen. Join the Watchers Trade Room. $7 for 7 days. Make it happen. All right. With that all out of the way and done for and said for, let's get into the news. Now, y'all heard about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, if you've woken up, Jeff Bezos is no longer the richest paper billionaire in the world. He is now is going to be dropped to number 5 on the list of richest paper billionaires on the planet. What is a paper billionaire? Well, somebody like Bezos, who's a billionaire based on a stock valuation. Only in America. Only in America. Yeah, if you go by the Forbes 100 list, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Anyway, the Bezos is getting a divorce. His wife is getting like half of everything he owns. He's a moron. And on top of that, folks, okay, a lot of interesting things have been happening in Silicon Valley. Okay, I like picking on certain things. I like picking on the military idiotic complex or the military incompetent complex. Their goal is not to win wars. Their goal is to basically just, continuously perpetual war of, with nations that can't fight back. And their whole thing is overpriced, underperforming, unreliable equipment and the manufacturing thereof. That's just what they like to do. That's the military incompetent complex. So now we have Silicon Valley, which are just basically run not by cutting edge engineers anymore, right? There's no innovation in Silicon Valley, especially amongst the FANGs. That is your Facebook, your Amazon. I'm gonna leave Netflix out of it because they're just coming out with the coolest shows. I just don't like the political ideology, the SJWBS. Apple, Google, there's really nothing going on, right? Apple's cutting production of their iPhone again for the second or third time this year. Actually, the second or third time the last several months. Excuse me, it hasn't even been a year yet. There's no innovation. They're starting to realize you can't charge $1,300 for a bloody phone that is similar to the phones that people already possess in their pockets. Now, I've ditched my iPhone, a few months ago. I have the iPhone 10. I sold it. Got myself the Pixel 3 XL for the camera action. It's the best damn friggin' camera on planet Earth. The damn camera on the Pixel 3 XL is so damn good. They compare it against digital DSLR cameras costing $10,000, $20,000, and $30,000, and this thing still shoots at the very top. That is incredible. It is a generation ahead. The camera technology on this Pixel 3 XL, and then of course for work, I can't find a better phone than my Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Ain't no damn better phone because that stylus is just sick, folks. Oh my God, I love my Note 9. I'm like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has a Note 9. He's like, I love this thing. It's truly remarkable. Innovative products, man. Innovative, really cool products. Apple doesn't have anything like that. You cannot charge $1,300 for and keep going higher and higher for very little to next to nothing innovation. Okay? You can't do that. I have the stupid look, and I'm the biggest Apple fanboy, right? I had all these Apple products. I'm kind of de-appling myself. I have the new iPad Pro, and I say to myself, why the hell do I even have this? Okay, it bends easy. I remember the stupid new Magic Mouse when you got mouse runs out of battery, you got to charge it. The charger's on the bottom. So if I'm charging my mouse, I can't use my mouse because it's on the bottom. It's stupid. Like if Steve Jobs was alive, he'd fire the entire. He would set the new headquarters building in flames. He would set fire to the entire new headquarters building they built out in Cupertino. Right? They just set the whole place on fire. Then they'll line up the entire executive staff and choke them all to death, starting with Tim Cook. Okay, he'll probably slap Johnny Ive, but he'll definitely choke out Tim Cook and the rest of the executive staff. So anyway, the reason why I say this is because Facebook has tumbled tens of billions of dollars. We know that Apple has literally lost tens of billions of dollars in the last several days, and there's right now, folks, one of the things that have kept Silicon Valley afloat is the fact that Silicon Valley had a lot of foreign investments, right? Has a lot of foreign investments. And one of those investments was the Chinese. The Chinese were happy to invest in Silicon Valley, just as central banks are happy to invest in Silicon Valley. Look at the Swiss Central Bank. The Swiss Central Bank have lost $17 billion the last several months. How did they lose $17 billion the last several months? Well, the yield chase, right? The addiction to yield is not something that's just limited to crazy people on Wall Street. It's not something just limited to Wall Street investment and investment houses. It's also an addiction shared by central bank because these are all varying degrees of banksters. So when we started going after Huawei, simply because Huawei is technologically ahead of any Silicon Valley company, leaving Apple in the dust. Huawei is the number 2 cell phone manufacturer on planet Earth, behind Samsung. They've displaced Apple as the number 2 guy. And Huawei, who sold over 100 million phones globally, we arrested the Canadians on the behest of the U.S. have arrested the CFO of Huawei simply because they are ahead of us in terms of 5G technology and a bunch of other innovative tech that they have. People say, well, they stole it, V. Okay, if they stole it, how come they're the first ones fielding it? And how come what they have is literally a generation ahead of what we have if they stole it? You see, if I were to steal something, right? If I were to steal somebody's intellectual property, if I was going to do that, right? My product would be similar. It would be very similar to what I already have in the market. But you can't accuse me of intellectual property theft if I not only make a product that you don't even have, that I not only make a product that you don't even are not even fielding out there, that you don't even have on the drawing boards, but that I release a product that is literally a generation ahead of you, or several months ahead of you. How the hell? Explain to me how I stole this idea from you. Oh, you stole the idea from me. Wait a minute. Are you not a Silicon Valley company? Are you not flushed with tens of hundreds of billions of dollars worth of cash? So how did I steal this from you that when I release it ahead of you, way ahead of you, way ahead of you, that you don't even have it in the field? You're not even beta testing. It's still on the drawing boards. But I put it out there, working models, it's functioning, it's working, and it's better than what you could even imagine. It's better than what you have on the drawing boards, and it's a generation ahead of the competition. So explain to me how it's corporate espionage. Do you see? They like using these words, folks. If you think Huawei stole technology from Qualcomm or Apple or whatever, that's a bunch of horse crap. It's a bunch of horse crap. Okay? Because what they're putting out there, I've seen some of their tech. We don't have anything out. Not even remotely close. We don't even have anything in beta testing for all I know. You can't say that. You can't say it's corporate theft. That's like me inventing a product, putting it out there, and some jackass somewhere saying, hey, you know what? Hey, V, that's corporate theft. Some moron out there is like, hey, that's corporate theft. You're stealing my idea. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't care you got an idea. I don't care you're still filing patents on it. I don't give a rat's ass. I have a functioning, working model. What the hell is your problem? Oh, excuses. Why? Because the narrative of we're the best, we make the best stuff in the world, we're so exceptional, and we're like God's gift to the planet, and all these other wonderful things. That narrative kind of falls away. And then we're stuck looking at reality. What is reality? Our education system sucks. What is the reality? We're not making anything anymore. What is the reality? Our biggest exports are trash, recyclables, and pornography. That's the reality. That is the reality that none of us, or very few of us want to deal with. We'd rather sit around and think that other people are stealing our ideas. Oh, they're stealing our ideas. They say that about Russian military equipment. Oh, they're stealing our ideas. Even though their stuff is literally 2 generations ahead. They're stealing our ideas. But we're not fielding anything even remotely close. They're still stealing our ideas. Like, dude, how much of losers have we become? We don't compete anymore. Like, we're literally, if you look at the professional market, right? And this is what happens when you have a service-based economy. You have a service-based. We're no longer a physical economy. We're not a manufacturing. We're a service-based economy. What happens in a service-based economy? Are you creating engineers? No. You're creating salesmen and bullshit artists. That's it. That's all you're creating, your service-based economy. So recently, with everything that's happening, Chinese, the latest news is that Chinese money flees Silicon Valley as Trump clamps down on access to U.S. tech. What access? Look, folks. Apple's vaunted A12 and A11 Bionic chip. A11 Bionic move 300,000 times faster than a modern PC, coming to a Apple smartphone near you. Their vaunted A11, A12 chips are actually made by either Samsung or TSMC. Okay? Those are the manufacturers of the A11 and the A12s. Okay? Apple don't make them. It is the world's first 7-nanometer chip. No, it's not the world's first 7-nanometer chip. That actually goes to Kirin. The Kirin 970, folks. It is a beast of a processor. That is the world's first 7-nanometer chip. Kirin, which is a chip manufacturer owned by who? Drumroll, please. Huawei. So what is this? Access to U.S. tech. Like, we have technology here. What do we have that's so valuable? Explain. Pray tell. Pray tell. Pray tell. What do we have? Well, V, you don't understand. I have, my MacBook is technologically advanced. No, it's not. Stop playing yourself. Like, what do we have? When they say access to U.S. tech, what the hell do we have that is so valuable that they want? What the hell do our SJW graduated pink hair wearing engineers over at Scroogle, what the hell can they offer that the Chinese want so bad? They got to clamp down on tech with this. No. This is about eliminating the competition. This is about making it difficult for Chinese companies to spring ahead and profit. That's what the whole thing comes down to. Thanks to new policies of the Trump administration aimed at cracking down on Beijing's access to access to strategic U.S. technologies, China has all but halted investments in U.S.-based tech startups, according to Reuters. And I will share with you this wonderful screen. New Trump administration policies aimed at curbing China's access to American innovation have all but halted Chinese investment in the U.S. technology. Chinese venture fund. Folks, this is not about Trump administration policies aimed at curbing China's access to American innovation. Let me ask you a question. How many engineers do China crack per year? How many engineers are broken every year in Chinese universities are made? How many? 500,000. 500,000. How many engineers are made in the US? Less than 50. Less than 50. And even that 50 that's made, they lag behind in math. They're not as good. They're not as good. It's a damn fact. I'm saying this because I want us to compete on a level. Don't try to sell me the BS from 50 years ago. No, it's not our access to tech. It's when you start arresting, when you have vassal states arrest executives that and citizens of your country without even consulting with you. During a time when the two world leaders are meeting, you're going to arrest somebody who's a foreign national in another country on basic BS charges that everybody knows is complete bullshit. Everybody knows it. But you have to understand, she was the CFO of Huawei. We had to arrest her because she was, doing business with Iran. Huawei does business. Wow. And then the other thing goes, oh, it's an American innovation. Oh, it's to protect you against Chinese security chips. Oh my God, these back-end chips. Folks, those back-end chips, those SMC chips that were put in there on many, many electronic devices and whatnot, let's say it's Chinese chips. Folks, the very blueprint of those chips and the manufacturing thereof was provided for by the CIA. Come on. You know this. Chinese venture funding in the U.S. startups crested to a record $3 billion last year, according to the New York Economic Research Rhodium Group, spurred by a rush of investors and tech companies scrambling to complete deals before the new regulatory regime was approved in August. Since then, Chinese venture funding in U.S. startups has slowed to a trickle. Reuters interviews with more than 35 industry players show U.S. President Donald Trump signed the new legislation expanding the government's ability to block foreign investment in U.S. companies regardless of the investor's country of origin. But Trump has been particularly vocal about stopping China from getting its hands on strategic U.S. technologies. The new rules are still final. It's not you getting your hands on U.S. No, it's having better Chinese tech that are way better than what we got that sell for a fraction of our price. Folks, I'm going to show you something. Y'all got to see this. Right? Okay, I'm going to show you something. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, this is a Chinese company that sells this right now. You can actually go pick it up in T-Mobile. This is the OnePlus 6T. The bloody thing has an in-screen fingerprint scanner. Okay? The bloody thing. 20 megapixel camera, 8 gigs of RAM. There's a new one called the McLaren Speed Edition, which has 10 gigs of RAM. I mean, just look at this. Runs stock Android, free and fluid and clear, no issues. It has a screen unlock. The incredible build quality. I mean, you could watch factory tours of the OnePlus factory that they do in China. I think Linus Tech Tips, one of the YouTube channels that I follow, Linus, who has like, I don't even know how many tens of millions of followers he has, but he does the factory tour. Some of the other tech YouTubers have done it as well. They go to OnePlus. OnePlus is owned, their parent company is Oppo. Oppo is a competitor to Huawei. It's a Chinese company. The amount of tech in this phone will make you puke. The camera, superior to the iPhone. The processor, okay, Snapdragon 845 with 8 gigs, 10 gigs of RAM. It is better at multitasking than even the 812. Okay? I mean, ridiculous. Look at this. No notch. Look at this. You don't have that ugly ass notch that you get on the iPhone, right? Super fast charging. Charges within like 30 minutes, you get a full charge. Huge battery. The whole 9 yards. I mean, think of it. I mean, look at what you're getting, right? It comes with beautiful audio speakers, the whole 9 yards. What are you paying for all this? $10,000, like $3,000, $2,000, $1,500? No, starts at $540. Top end is $600 and change. Well, I wasn't even presenting it. Here it is, folks. Here's the phone that I'm talking about. In-screen fingerprint scanner, the whole 9 yards. You can unlock it with your screen. You see this? So what do the Chinese want to steal? What do they want to steal? No notch. No notch. No notch. See? Super fast. Like what do they want to steal? Like no, this is not about stealing, folks. This is not about stealing. What this is about is the Chinese have high quality, build quality electronic devices and technology that they can sell, high tech equipment for a fraction of the price of the U.S. is, and that is the threat. That is a threat because we, rather than innovating, we like to have Johnny Ive come up on an Apple keynote and say, "We at Apple," and speak with his English accent after he gets out of his Bentley. After he's driven his Bentley, he's driven. We at Apple like to innovate. We like to use a screen from the year 2010, the latest in 720p, low standard definition. We have like to do more. So this year, we've not only eliminated the headphone jack, we're going to eliminate all buttons and even the screen. What they're going to do next year's MacBook, they're going to remove all the keys from the keyboard, and you have to buy a dongle for that. I mean, this is how ridiculous things have gotten. Now, I brought this up as an example, and this is a small, because everybody understands cell phones. I can sit there and talk about supercomputers. Don't get me started on supercomputers. I can talk about supercomputers, military technology. Damn it, they just put a freaking lunar probe on the dark side of the moon. I can talk about all those things. It can go over some of your heads, but some of the things that you do that most people understand is a stupid cell phone. In screen, you touch the screen, there's a fingerprint scanner on the screen. You touch the screen, it reads your freaking fingerprint. No more scanning your stupid face. They do it better for less. And that's the whole thing that they're freaked out about. They do it better for less. The new rules are still being finalized. Deals involving Chinese companies and Chinese buyers and Chinese investors are virtually stopped. So attorney Nell O'Donnell, who's represented U.S. tech companies in transactions with foreign buyers, lawyers who spoke to Reuters say that they're feverishly rewriting deal terms to help ensure investments, get them stamp approval from Washington. Chinese investors, including big family offices, have walked away from transactions, taking meetings with U.S. startups. Some entrepreneurs, meanwhile, are skewing Chinese money, fearful of lengthy government reviews that could sap their resources and momentum in an arena where speed to the market is critical. You have startups also become cautious, according to San Francisco. So now the thing you see what's happening, folks. What's going to happen in Silicon Valley. The same things that have led to a housing collapse that we're about to witness, which is basically money leaving the housing markets when foreign investors, particularly the Chinese, are out. The same thing's going to happen in Silicon Valley. Chinese investors are out. Most U.S. investors are tapped out. So what's going to happen? Prepare for more Wall Street chicanery. How can there be more innovation? How? Look, if you think for 1 second that Apple, Amazon, Google is taking their tens of billions in profit that they've gotten on Wall Street, that they've gotten in the stock market, and they're going to reinvest that to R&D to create more innovative products, I got another thing coming for you. They're not going to do it because they're too busy. You see, if you thought that maybe Tim Cook is a colossal idiot, but if you think that Tim Cook was an idiot, and he very well could be, and so is Bozos, and the guys over at Alphabet, they know that the punch bowl is over. It's coming to an end. They know they cannot innovate. They've been resting on their laurels. They've been resting on the value and the title of their names. They can't do anything else. So what have they been doing? Rather than innovating, they've just been buying back, taking all the money that they've gotten in their stock market and buying back their own stocks. What do you think they're doing with all the repatriated wealth? We're gonna create factories all over Wisconsin and turn the cheese factories into silicon factories. No, they've taken repatriated wealth and they've bought back their own stock. So you think Silicon Valley? You think for 1 second Silicon Valley is going to go ahead and try to catch up with the Chinese with some vigor and vim? No, it's not going to happen. Because we're a culture of marketing bullshitters. And the worst part is, folks, is that the majority of our countrymen believe our own bullshit. That is the worst part of it all. Anyway, shifting gears real quick, we have the Dark Overlord hacking group. The Dark Overlords, oh my God, these guys are dropping bombshell after bombshell. Bombshell after bombshell, the Dark Overlord group. Get ready, folks, Dark Overlord. Here they are. The Dark Overlord hacker group has released decryption keys. Oh boy. For a second batch of 9/11 documents totaling over 7,500 files. Additional document leaks containing more secrets, more truth have been promised for a price. The first batch of the supposed 18,000 documents was made available by the hackers at the weekend, along with a decryption key for the layer of one of the dumps. The documents are believed to have stolen from insurance companies, law firms, governmental agencies. And the hackers originally demanded an unspecified Bitcoin ransom to keep them unreleased. After apparently failing to secure the ransom, the group then took Bitcoin donations from the public, releasing Layer 1. After collecting just $12,000, and they're releasing Layer 2. on Wednesday, despite not meeting funding target. So far, no smoking gun has emerged detailing conspiracy or government involvement. Instead, the documents build up a picture of insurance litigators brainstorming to see who they can sue for damages in the wake of the attacks. In the emails, the lawyers discuss targeting airlines, airplane manufacturers, Federal Aviation Authority, the terrorists themselves, and foreign entities. Talking strategy, the lawyers mull taking action against Boeing for not fitting 757 and 767 aircraft using the attack with automatic transponders, which could have alerted authorities sooner that something was amiss. A case that lawyers admit in the documents was flimsy. The lawyers also discussed dropping a case against the FAA for fear of wrangling the government. Along the way, the litigators discussed whether then President George W. Bush had advanced knowledge of the attacks or whether the Saudi royal family was responsible. And while the encryption key for the first batch of documents have been scrubbed from Reddit, Pastebin, and Twitter, it remained available for several days on Steemit. Dark Overlord's account was banned on the platform on Wednesday. However, the documents can be accessed on busy.org, a website that runs on the same blockchain as Steemit. The hacker group has promised 3 more layers of documents to come if the price is met. The latest leak was a company. These jackasses are morons. Folks, let me tell you something, right? If the bloody deep state, you already know the answer to this. If the bloody deep state was involved in some sort of a terror attack, do you think they're going to leave all the paper trail with some lawyers and insurance companies? So this idiotic hacking group, they released tier 1 after they got $12,000, and people realized there's really nothing in here. They're going to release tier 2, which is again more another nothing burger, and they're threatening them. You better pay up, deep state. What the hell are these guys going to uncover? What the hell are these guys going to uncover that we already don't know? Well, that energy weapons were used on that day. Yeah, we know that. How else do you explain that the concrete, industrial grade concrete, was reduced to 92 microns? The amount of energy required to do that is incredible. How do you explain the 600,000-pound trusses being flown and flung 1,500 feet away and lodged into the side of a building? How do you do that? We know because they're energy weapons. How does Building 7 collapse? How does something fall at free fall speed using the path of most resistance into its own footprint and then calling it a pancake collapse? That is not a pancake collapse, my friend. How do the 34,000 trusses that hold up the damn building fail simultaneously all at once to create such a collapse? How does the central column also fail? All of which is designed to take impact from aircraft. What the hell are these guys going to tell us that we already don't know? That all of us who've been sitting on 9/11 Truth for how many decades? We know this crap ain't coming out. That would Jesus, man. Maybe it would come out after all the arrests. After all the arrests. Yes. Supposedly. How much more excuses can we give reality, folks? I sit there and think that, like, how many more excuses can we possibly give reality? Can't be that much more. Can't be that much more. Next bit of news, folks. We have the one and only, the Sultan in the Punch Bowl, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Syrian U.S. Army is now jointly protecting Kurdish held north from NATO Turkey. Well, that's a good thing. The Kurds have been fighting ISIS, and the Syrians love that, and they're not going to let the Kurds just die at the hands of the Turks, and I don't think the good guys in the U.S. are either. The war in Syria has seen quite a few interesting alignments. At one point, the CIA-backed Islamist rebels were clashing with the Pentagon-trained SDF. At another, that's another empirical evidence of the war within the Defense Department and the Cocaine Import Agency. Another, both Russian and American jets were flying air support for Turkish invasion into ISIS-held northern Syria. Russians flew air support for rebels against ISIS and for The mainly U.S.-backed SDF against ISIS. In cooperation with Turkey and the Saudis, the U.S. showered the Islamist rebellions with arms, but on a few occasions also bombed its largest, most effective component, the Syrian Al-Qaeda. Syrian Al-Qaeda once with B-52s in a devastating raid. At one point, the U.S. was building up the Kurdish YPG to push back ISIS, and while Turkey continued to tolerate ISIS, resupplying and reinforcing itself across the border, at another, Turkey was shelling not just the Kurdish, but also the Arab component of the U.S.-backed SDF, while it was battling Al-Qaeda and its allies. At one point, the Americans and the Kurds on one side and the Syrians and the Russians on the other found themselves both squeezing out ISIS from different sides, even as the U.S. repeatedly attacked the Syrians, and in one case, Russian mercenaries in Syrian service because they had allegedly come too near the Americans. We can add one more interesting alignment in the collection. Just before New Year's Eve, after Trump announced the U.S. military has been ordered to withdraw from Syria, hundreds of Syrian soldiers, in agreement with U.S.-backed Kurdish YPG militia, crossed over to the Kurdish-held Manbij region of northern Syria. The purpose of the Syrians was to deter a threatened Turkish invasion and subsequent occupation of Manbij. This is to say, Syrian soldiers are now in Manbij for the exact same purpose the American soldiers are there. The Syrians have effectively arrived to take over from the Americans and to guard their retreat and their Kurdish proxies, since the Russian military police has arrived for the same purpose as well, and the Kurds have slowed down their withdrawal eastward across the Euphrates as conflict messages on U.S. withdrawal come from Washington. Video is set to show how American patrol at Syrian army checkpoint in Manbij countryside. Basically, what that is doing, folks, is describing to you the aspirations of the Sultan. The great Sultan Erdogan of Turkey, who fancies himself as the resurrected Salahuddin, the resurrected Salahuddin version 2.0 of a resuscitated Ottoman Empire. The turd in the hummus bowl, Erdogan, is wanting to carve out the Middle East for himself. But he has a problem. Syria is a problem. Saudi Arabia is a problem. Iran is a problem. They're not going to sit idly by and let this happen. So we're seeing, in some regards, as empirical proof here, that the good guys that are within the U.S. government and the U.S. military are working with others, like the Russians, like even the Syrians. They're working jointly to ensure stability in the region. This is a good thing, and it's a completely different setup from when we had President Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Insane and the Membrane Hussein Obama, who was in the White House, and his she-male spouse, Michael, a.k.a. Michelle Robinson. Anyway, folks, that is basically a look at the entire world, a little snapshot of what's going on. I would urge you to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, the like. We'll be back on to a regularly scheduled program daily starting this coming week. And also, folks, join the Gadfly. We are over at the Gadfly. Some great information is happening over there. Go to the gadfly.vhx.tv. That is the gadfly.vhx.tv. And you can go there and sign up. Be part of the Rebel Trinity, where you will see all of us there doing our thing like a chicken wing. And check out RogueNews.com, folks. RogueNews.com. The Gadfly, as well as Watchers Trade and everywhere else. And with that being said, we are over and out.